Mike is a young man in his early 20s. Ever since he was a teenager, he's always wanted to get rich. Growing up in the lower middle class, Mike was forced to live a type of life he didn't want to live. All the adults around him were working dead-end jobs that they hated only to pay their bills. But deep down, Mike knew that surely there was more to life than simply working for a boss to make their dreams come true instead of making his own dreams come true. And besides, he constantly sees those influencers showing him luxurious vacations, expensive cars, private jet and supermodels. So Mike is determined to join the top 1% and to live a life of complete freedom and abundance. So he opens up his laptop, he goes on YouTube, and he starts searching for ways to make passive income or ways to get rich fast. Every day Mike is spending countless hours consuming content, reading financial books, but he still doesn't know what to do. All of this excess of information overwhelms him. On the one side, he hears some people tell him that he needs to save every dollar and every penny for the rest of his life. Heaven forbid, never ever buy a $5 Starbucks coffee. Invest in the stock market and then passively wait for the compound effect to work its magic and make Mike rich. But at the same time, Mike sees those guys in their 20s living the sort of life that he could only ever dream of. So he thinks, surely those guys did not get rich by saving their money all of their life, they're only in their 20s. And that is when Mike realizes that if he actually wants to become rich and be able to enjoy his wealth while he's still young, he needs to start his own business. Because sure, you can get rich with the stock market, however, it's going to take you your entire life. And I don't know about you, but my goal was never to become the richest person of the graveyard. My goal was to have enough money to be able to do the things that I wanted without restriction, to be able to afford anything without having to sweat over the price tag. Now, if we haven't met before, my name is Fred, and just a couple years ago, I was still broke and completely depressed. Fast forward to today, and I'm now running a profitable online business and living a life I would have never thought was possible. So in this video, I'm going to share with you the 6 paths that you can follow to become rich. We'll go from hardest and slowest path to fastest and easiest path. Path 1, getting lucky. Now we're going to cross off the list being born in a wealthy family, because obviously if that were the case for you, you would not be watching this video. Unfortunately, you can't go back in the past and choose another family. Now one way you can get lucky is by investing in crypto, and so you don't have to do any work and you become an overnight crypto millionaire. It happened to some people. Now if you wanted to get lucky, you could also try winning the lottery. You wouldn't have to put in any work and you would end up with dozens of millions of dollars to your name. But guess what? The truth is that 80% of lottery winners or even crypto millionaires, they lose everything within just a couple of years. Why, you may ask? Because they didn't develop the skills that they needed to manage money properly. A lot of people want the fast results, but by trying to skip ahead, they don't build the skills that they need to be able to maintain those same results on a long-term basis. So by trying to go too fast, you're actually shooting yourself in the foot. And so that is exactly why you see plenty of people going right back to square one. And let me tell you that when you get to experience true abundance and true freedom, and then you're pulled right back to square one when you had nothing, it is a horrible thing to go through, and I don't wish that upon you. Now, of course, the upside of this approach is that you don't have to do any work, so it's perfect for lazy people. And let's face it, we're all a bit lazy to some degree. However, let's be honest, you will wait your entire life for some kind of miracle to happen. Path number 2, investing in real estate. Now, you see, a lot of millionaires actually built their wealth through investing in real estate. Now look, plenty of people say that investing is risky. You shouldn't invest, you should go down the safe route. Just have a job, save some money, and that's it. In reality, when people tell you investing is risky, the only reason they're saying this is because they would have no clue what the hell they'd be doing if they started to invest like today. But it's your fault if you don't do your homework beforehand, if you go and invest in something that you don't understand. Now, compared to if you were to invest in crypto or in the new NFT, investing in real estate is a great option because it holds tangible value. In 50 years from now, people will still need a shelter, and even if you made a terrible investment, most likely you would still be able to minimize your losses by reselling the property. Now, obviously, if you want to go down that route, you'll need lots of money to get started, and so for most of you, this would mean getting in debt. The issue is that when you do this, you're at the mercy of the bank. Just take a look at any movie. When somebody owes someone else money, usually it ends in a terrible way. In real life, it's pretty much the same thing. And besides, you would be competing against massive companies that have billions of dollars to invest in real estate. So what are your chances against them? And unlike some people claim, investing in real estate, it's a full-time job. Don't expect to do it passively on the side a couple hours a month and you'll become extremely rich. That's not how it works. Otherwise, everyone would do it, believe me. The truth is that people who became millionaires through real estate are the ones who made it their careers. They were obsessed about becoming millionaires through real estate, and after decades of hard work, they finally attained their goal, but plenty of people didn't. Path 3, investing in the stock market. Now, if we do a quick simulation together, if you were to invest $100 a month in the stock market with an initial payment of $1,000 and you do it for 60 years, assuming you manage to get a 10% return on your investment per year, which isn't too unrealistic because it's the historical average, you would end up with almost $4 million. Now at first glance it might seem amazing. All it took is putting some money aside and now you end up with $4 million. Now of course the upside of this path is that it's low effort. You only have to save some money, invest it, and then you don't have to do anything else. You just have to wait. You'll only need to review your investments and it's going to take you a couple hours a month at best. It's a very long-term strategy. But hey, that's exactly the downside of that path. You'll be rich, yes, but in 60 years from now. If you're 20, you'll be rich at 80. If you're 30, at 90. And let's be honest, with the uncertainty of life, how can you be so sure you'll still be alive at 80 or at 90? And with taxes, with inflation, the $3.9 million you'll have in 60 years, it would be closer to half of that amount in reality. So around $1.95 million as of today. Of course, that's better than nothing, but there is still a much better way. Because what if you could get that rich, but while you're young? We'll come back to that in just a second. Path number 4, the ladder. Now for this method to work, you essentially need to get a job in a booming industry, and then you slowly climb the corporate ladder year after year. Now naturally this means that you will have to put in slave-like hours for decades on end. It also requires a lot of qualifications, so you would probably need to get massively in debt and spend close to a decade of your life studying in university. So you'd be starting off in life with minus $350,000. Now don't forget that on your way to success, there will be fierce competition, because plenty of people want the best jobs as well. You're not the only one. Not to mention that AI is threatening plenty of jobs in plenty of different industries now. But the biggest downside of this path is that your opportunities will be limited to your geographical location only. So if you're in New York, that's great, you can become a top lawyer, and if you buy into a firm at some point, you can even become a millionaire. But like I said, it would not only take you dozens of years of your life and slave-like hours, but all the people that you see in their 20s or 30s on social media living an incredible life, that's not the path that they pursued, because that path is slow and hard. Path number 5, the springboard. Now the difference between the ladder and the springboard is that if you choose to go down the corporate route, you will just be trying to get promoted to a position with higher responsibilities and so a higher salary. However, with the springboard method, you start off by working in a booming industry, so just like you would with the ladder method, but instead of just focusing on the money and climbing the ladder, instead you put your emphasis on acquiring the skills, the knowledge, and the experience in that specific industry to then open up a competing business. Now when you follow this path, you start to have a lot more leverage. The reason being, now that you're the founder, the CEO of the business, you're gonna hire people, leverage the skills and time of people who are more talented or more experienced than you are. Because let's face it, we only have 24 hours a day. So if you were to do everything yourself, you would very quickly be overwhelmed, and on the long term it's not really sustainable. Now of course this path would be too good to be true if it didn't have any downsides. Truth is, it's the hardest possible path. Sure, the upsides are amazing. You can build a massive empire, be worth dozens if not hundreds of millions of dollars, but it will take you your entire life to get to that point, if you even get to that point to begin with, and you will also need a lot of startup capital to even open up the business. So you would be risking a lot. You'd need lots of qualifications, so for most people they would need to get massively in debt, and then later on to open up your own business, unless you have the funds somehow, you will again need to get massively in debt, so you risk losing a lot. And with this path, you might just never get rich and risk losing everything if the company goes bankrupt. It's not for nothing that they say that 9 out of 10 startups fail. Path number 6, becoming your own boss. Now you might wonder, what's the difference with the last path? Didn't we become our own boss already? You see, growing up I saw the CEOs, the CFOs, the COOs making 6 figures a year sometimes, driving nice cars, and on the outside they looked like they have everything. But I'll tell you this, plenty of them are miserable. They work 90, 80, 100 hours a week sometimes, and they have no time for anything else. They don't get to spend time with their family, to enjoy their hobbies, so they make so much money but they don't even get to spend it. So what's the point? And that is exactly when I realized that to become free, I don't just need money, because money alone would never guarantee me freedom. I needed, most importantly, the ability to control my time and to pick my own schedule, to not be restricted by only a specific geographical location, and to make enough money, of course, to not have to sweat over the price tag of things. And then one day I stumbled upon a YouTube video, and it was a guy explaining how he made over $50,000 a month with his own online business. It blew my mind. I figured I need to start my own online business too. So I went down the rabbit hole, consumed hundreds, if not honestly thousands of YouTube videos on the topic. I remember I would often sit on my bed in the evening, taking notes as I would watch videos on SEO, on email marketing and things like that. I would often go to bed way past midnight, even though I had to be up early the next day to go to school. Now I started plenty of businesses before finding the one that worked for me. I tried selling Instagram accounts, dropshipping, but none of those businesses actually worked for me. And at the time I seriously wished wished there had been a video analyzing every popular online business model. That way I could simply figure out which one is the best. Because most people, they just see a business model and they jump straight into it without analyzing it first. Because I'll tell you one thing, if you pick the wrong business model, no matter how hard you work, you're setting yourself up for failure. But luckily for you, I've done all of the work. I have recorded a free video in which I analyze every popular online business model. Together we'll take a look at the pros and the cons of each model, and I'm also going to share with you for completely free the 3-step process you can use to literally start your business today and get your first customers as quickly as possible. If you're interested, the link is in the description below.